Rip City, rip City, rip City, rip City. Yo, how many mics do we rip on the daily? Some say many, many. What's poppin', everybody? Bren Boy here, back in the Rip City basement, bridging the gap between hip-hop fanatics, demand to hear technique, and Portland's electronic obsession. Today, we have a special episode. I'm joined by director of the film Wheels, Paul Starkman, and the star of the film, Arn Star. Welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for joining me.
What's up, Brian? Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Grateful to be virtually in the building with you. It's big.
Yeah. It's good to virtually meet you guys.
Shout out.
Yeah, you were just here in Oregon recently, weren't you, Paul?
Yeah, I was. Wheels played the Bend Film Festival last year, so it was such a honor to be there and a pleasure to see the town and just be a part of the community there. It was just like a wonderful time, and they have such an old theater like in this alleyway in Bend, and I don't know if you've been there, but we got to screen in it, and it was like being in someone's living room. It was amazing, and the reception of the film was fantastic. Everyone really enjoyed themselves, so yeah, it was great.
That's amazing. And the film is out now, right?
The film is out now. It's everywhere. It's Amazon Prime, iTunes, Google Play. Right now, it was just released this past September. So, yeah, we did a year of a festival circuits. Arn Star and I, we traveled the country. We went to many festivals all over, and even to Montreal. And we were just we were really lucky to have great reception from the film, and then it got picked up by 1091 Media, and now it's out everywhere. So yeah.
Well, congratulations to both you guys. That's amazing. A young DJ with big dreams confronts his family's struggles in the streets of Brooklyn. How did this script come together? Who wrote the script? Give me a little background about the mind behind the story. I want to hear that first.
Okay, well, I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised, and I always wanted to make movies, and so and I grew up in the 80s with hip hop just like blasting off, and I've always been a fan of hip hop and New York and film, so I wanted to put my passions together, music and film, and make a story about a coming of age story about someone finding themselves and finding their path in life, and we all grow up and trying to figure things out and how to go about accomplishing our dreams. And so I wanted to put that all into a film. So I wrote the script. I used to listen to Stretch and Bobbito, the old tapes, and I used to wear out the tapes, and I was really inspired by them because it wasn't about the fancy radio station or the fancy the glossy. It was about the real deal, and I was really inspired by that. They had real artists, people with passion that would come up and rap and bring their beats up there like every week. And I just so I was inspired by them, and I was inspired by I love Rocky and coming of age stories, so I wanted to piece those together. And so I wrote the script, and through a Kickstarter campaign we were able to make the film happen.
That's incredible, man. Your connection to hip hop is like it sounds like it was a real passion project from the beginning that came to fruition, and you made it happen, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to do it in New York, in Brooklyn. It's like there'll always be the argument of where hip hop started, but I'm from Brooklyn, and once once I met Arn Star and he came in the room when we were doing auditions and casting the film, it was like a connection, and the magic just came together because he embodied Max, who was going on this journey, and he just has such a history of hip hop running through. I'm talking too much. I should let him talk, because he just embodied Max, and it was just a match made in heaven.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When you guys were casting and trying to figure out who's gonna star, who's gonna take this lead role, what was it about him initially that caught you? Was it the tone of his voice? Was it when he was reading the script, his hand motions, or was it just a spark? Tell me, what'd you see in him?
OnStar is OnStar, it just exudes life and like positivity and this energy. And when he came in the room and he read the script, he just Max is finding himself, and Max is someone that's on a journey, and I think he connected with Max because he's on this life journey, and he's an artist finding his way. And we shot this many years ago now at this point, but um he just embodied Max. It was just it jumped off the page. It came to life. I mean, he just was him, you know.
That's amazing. And Arnstar, for you, what was it about the script that made you get disconnected? Because it sounds like off the dribble, Paul was rocking with you. What was it for you that, I'm sure you related to the story, but was there something special about the actual wording in the script that really made you embody that character?
To be honest with you, it was really as simple and as life changing as facing my fears. In my mind, peg myself as an artist only, or really one of those artists that's like, I would like to have my career go in a certain format and a certain flow, starting with the music. And I had just finished doing portraying MC Shannon, Roxanne, and my nerves was so up because I was like, yo, I'm not an actor, but I knew that an actor wouldn't play hip hop how hip hop is supposed to be played. So I broke through that fear wall, and then I was like, I don't even know how I did in that. So then when this came, one of my good friends, shout out to Melvin, he was like, yo, this is for you. This is a character role that you can nail. And I'm like, a lead role? I don't know yet. And so I end up getting about like 2 emails, and the second one was the director wants to see you directly, and I'm like, I haven't I missed the initial audition. How did I get picked for? I said, you know what? Let me just go in. If all goes well, they'll find who they need to find, and I'll be off the hook. So I walk in, I deliver my piece. I let them know off the rip I'm nervous. I just this is new for me, and Paul saw what he needed to see. They sent the offer that night, and the next day we were having lunch. And the moment I knew, like we just having regular conversation, nothing really about the film, but just more about life. The moment we knew we had a communication, like no communication barriers, that's when I knew I could trust him as a person. I gained a friend, but I also gained a director that's gonna direct me through this film. And so, that was really the organic opening, and I was just so excited after we had lunch. I was like, man, this guy's my friend. I don't want to let him down. Like I'm gonna show up, and we're gonna do this lead role, and we're gonna have a great time, and it end up being like one of the best things that ever happened in my life.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Just the connection between you guys. It's like Phil Jackson and Kobe. Like you can't lose with that team. When your director, you trust the person who's calling the shots. You trust them that they're not going to put you in a weird position, and vice versa. You know that you can rely on this actor to execute because you already have that trust in each other. That just makes the whole shoot, on some next level stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing like OnStar, you can see already he's his, I don't know how to describe it. He's his own self. He is a special person. And when you do the scenes are written, and we would follow the dialogue and all of that, but you have to leave room so that he can also be who he is and bring what he brings to the role, which gives it something you can never write. And so if you just allow for that and give that space, every day Arnstar was there, just bringing dimensions to the character that I couldn't even see on the page.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And was this the first script that you had written at this level, or what?
Yeah, I've written, I mostly work in TV. I direct a lot of TV competition style shows. And so this is my first narrative film. I've written a few more screenplays and which I'm looking to make. But this was the first one that I wanted to tackle. This was the closest to my heart, you know, and I wanted it to be, the canvas was the right size to like, you know, I want to work at this size and these kind of relationships, and that's where I wanted to start my journey. So that's how I decided to do this one.
That's incredible. What about the other actors? Who were your co-stars on this, Armstar? Did you have anybody that you connected with, playing a supporting role?
Man, there was so many. I mean, just about everybody I played opposite of, almost it was almost like I just off the rip, it's like the film itself was magical because it brought great energy together, like regardless. Like everybody had kind of like a power story that's coming behind them. So you got Charlotte Rodriguez, who is the love interest. She just came off of the Get Down. And so like there's that old school energy and like just who she is. She's a timeless being. We got I'm losing his name right. Oh, Joshua Boone. That's my guy. He's my brother. He plays my brother. So like he has like a background in like Broadway and theater that it was almost like it was school, life, and acting all in one because I'm like the least trained, but everyone else around me has their like upbringing that pushes it. And while we're on breaks, we're having like chops that are like, oh, I can utilize that right now. Like what you just gave me, you don't even know that you gave that to me. Or maybe I didn't catch that they probably knew that they were giving me, but they were giving me nuggets to help into the very next scene we were getting ready to get into. So um even the bad guy, even Oscar, Kareem. So like he was such a genuine and like great guy. It's so funny. Like all the villains, when it's cut, they're always great people. And like they're probably the best. He's probably like the best spirit on the set. So like everybody's coming together to make like stars are aligned moment for like this huge big bang. So there was nobody that wasn't on the set that wasn't amazing, like their own right shining. So that's what made this film super special.
That's incredible, man. I'm sure you met some. I'm sure you maybe kicked some flows with some people in the trailer or on the side. I'm sure you got them. I know people must have been asking like, "Yo, I know you're a rapper too. Spit me some bars," you know?
Absolutely. Like we were going back, like everybody was trading their expertise. And so mine was like I was connecting the acting with the music. Like everything is a song. Like me, I grew up watching movies on top of movies over and over again. So much so to the point where we stopped the VHS, rewind it back, play it again, maybe two more times. So after a while, I could be in another room and I'm listening to a movie and I could see it in my mind and it sound like to me it's like the cadence. I'm catching the cadence of it like it's a song. So that was my connection. And that's what I would share. So I'm spitting bars, I'm flowing, and sometimes I'm rapping the text that I have to actually learn to as my lines. I'm rapping my lines to remember it so that the next time I'm like it's easier for me to remember it in a rhythmic pattern than to just just try to do it as a deliberate as a actor. So it was all of that. And then I'm playing my music in the background, in the trailer. I'm sending links just in like you said, regular ciphering. So it was litty for sure, for sure.
That's tight. That's hella tight. I like that. What would you say was one of the biggest challenges for you as the actor, being the newest person, kind of the greenest actor, I guess, sounds like. What do you think was the biggest challenge throughout the whole process?
I would say just getting out of my own way. Like if there was a scene where I wasn't too familiar on how to capture it within my own understanding, I would really have to just take the direction that Paul was giving me, which he was an amazing director, um, and amazing director. He's still here with us. So like, I mean, he would give me like instead of like the last, like it was so different from the last director I was dealing with, who was also great as well. he would just ask me a question of what it feels like if like just imagine you're on the beach and the sun is setting. How would you feel? Like, and I'm making this up, but I would say, oh yeah, I feel like, and in that feeling, I would give the feeling. He's like, that's what I'm looking for. And and then he's like, do that. And then there's also trusting myself to deliver whatever it is that was there. Like trusting me, like getting out of my head, getting out of the understanding of not being an actor. It's like everybody's an actor because everybody's living. And me, I study a lot of communication, so I didn't realize a lot of acting is just listening and responding. So once we got that clear, like once it clicked for me, it became easier. But the first couple of days was probably my hardest because it was like just a lot of cerebralness, like I'm just all in my mind. But once that dropped and Paul was like, just let it go, I let it go, and life became so much easier the rest of the days that we were shooting.
It was. We got into a flow pretty fast, and like we were fortunate enough to do a couple of days of rehearsal. And so after that, you know, it was just like Arn was like, okay, I know what this guy is all about. I know his life, and then we were just like locked in, and it just like, you know, it felt like we were just took off, you know.
Wow. Yeah, you talk about that flow state, Paul. You know, that's really something everybody pays attention to. Any high performer in their respected craft pays attention to the moments when they lock into that and they know what that frequency feels like. And then at that point, it's like, what do I got to do? What are my techniques to where I can duplicate that on command, you know? Did you actually, I'm curious for both of you guys, we'll start with you, Paul. Do you have a certain technique, meditation, deep breathing, a waking up early, a coffee routine or something? You hit golf balls off the roof, or what is it that you like to do that kind of triggers that flow state for you?
I always like to spend time with my family. That's the biggest thing. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and that's just the best to see her smile and take her skateboarding or whatever we do. She's just like, that just brings the light to be with my wife and my daughter, and that's everything. I mean, when it comes to work, I just I just go, I trust my instinct, and I just go with that. And I go with, I try to prepare as much as possible, but also leave, like I said, leave that space for things that I would have never thought of to come to be, and be open to that, because, sometimes you have an idea of something, but you want to make sure that, if something is better, or if something is not working right, that you allow for other things to come in. So I just try to prepare as much as possible, and then I know I can go off from that.
I
So
totally
yeah.
know. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. You gotta give it some room to breathe.
Right.
That's really cool that your daughter's into skateboarding. You
Oh yeah.
sound like a proud
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, we were at Chelsea Piers last week, and she's learning to go on the ramps and stuff. It's new, but she like keeps trying until she gets it. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, Paul. That's
Yep.
up.
Yep.
What about you, Arn? What's your flow state get down? What's your go-to?
Well, I'm heavy into meditation, and so that allows me to just free up my space. I was in California not too long ago, just getting into deep meditation and back into like the elements of the earth and being like around beach area, getting a lot of sun, and just understanding that life is happening whether you're paying attention to it or not. So I'd rather pay attention to it. And I've always felt that meditative state whenever I'm rapping, whenever I'm freestyling off the top of my head and just going. I don't think about anything else. I don't think about nothing that would take me out of that flow state. And it becomes evident. Like the more I start rapping, the more it's like, yo, this kid is he's not really thinking about anything right now. He's just going. And so I start putting stuff together. I'm teaching myself like, oh snap, oh. And so then by the time I'm finished, I'm like, man, I wish I would have wrote that down. That's the whole album right there. But yeah, so meditation and freestyling really keeps it open for me.
I feel that, man. Some of the coolest rhymes I've ever busted was when no one's around or in the shower and I can't write it down, you know? Oh,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen? You just like and then you were like, "You know what? I got this." You pull out your phone and you're like, "Okay, I said oh, wait, what'd I say? Uh"
Right.
It's
Yeah.
my channel is it's a different channel. And so I always tell my friends, like, I'm like, listen, if you care about me, if you love me, if you see me getting into a state where you know I'm not like where I'm just gone, just pull out your own phone and record it and just send it to me as a birthday gift. Like, don't say I never did nothing for you because I'll be like, oh, I got gold because it'll be gold coming out.
I know exactly what you mean, brother. That's how it goes sometimes, you know? But that's also what makes it fun is like it's like that's what makes us as MCs live in the now. It's like I only got this one shot. Every time I'm on stage, I'm in the studio. It doesn't matter if I get a second take or I get a second song. I treat it like this is the last time I'm ever gonna spit. This is the only time that matters. You know, I want the timing to be perfect. I want the energy to be perfect. So it's like every word is like it's like I'm just with it every time I deliver it. It doesn't matter where. You know what I'm saying?
Absolute, no vodka. Yes, sir.
So when you guys went on the film festival tour, where did you start?
We started Woodstock, New York. That's where we premiered, and then you know, it was funny was we had never been to a festival before. I mean, where our film was showing. I mean, I think OnStar went to Sundance for Roxanne, Roxanne, right? Yeah, but I had never been to a film festival where a film was playing, so I didn't know what to expect all the way. And so we show up at the ceremony for the awards, and we're like, are we? Is this even the right place? Like, we don't even know if we're supposed to be there. And we won Best Narrative Feature that night at the award ceremony for Woodstock, New York. That's where we premiered, and we were just blown away. We were so honored. We just felt like it was such a magical night, and OnStar was there, and so was Joshua Boone, and some of the crew. My wife and Neil, the another producer editor, was there, and shout out to Neil. Um, and so that was where we started, and that we just started off with a win, and then from then on we went to all types of festivals, from Montreal to New Hope, Pennsylvania, to to Bend, Oregon, to to Cleveland. We played all over, so over 20 festivals, and we won 6 awards.
Wow. And that's a
Yeah,
in itself, the way we traveled. We
yeah. And
Canada.
OnStar and I got to, you know, in all the rides we would ride, it would just be you and I, and we played in Boston, a couple of festivals as well. And my wife and I, you know, we would all go together, stay in the hotel, or a bunch of festivals. It was OnStar and I, and he would always play his new tracks, and I would get to hear stuff before it comes out, and like, just, you know, that was always you know, made the rides incredible, and we would get to connect, and you know, the movie really brought together more than just the film, like friendship, and just you felt like people with a lot of passion were together. um yeah, and a lot of, you know, one thing, if I can mention, you know, OnStar, you know, OnStar comes from hip hop in his blood, and I'll let him tell you about that. But we also were fortunate enough in the film. I had met Lee Quinones, who was the star of Wild Style, the like one of the original hip hop films. I met him on the subway 15 years ago, and just said, "Yo, are you Lee?" And then and he ended up joining the film and doing a cameo. And when I called him, he said, "Who's starring in the film?" And I said, "OnStar." He said, "OnStar? Kippy D's son?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, I knew him. And it was like this connection that made the whole film really come together. And Tuffy Questel, who was part of Video Music Box in New York with Ralph McDaniels, he was the host. He came in and did a role. Nick Caution came in and did a cameo in the film. And this was like, a few years ago. And now Jay Alphonse, who is part on P Valley as Little Murder, he's in the film. So it was like this collective of artists in New York. And the editor of the film, my friend Neil, used to edit for the Beastie Boys for like 8 years, where Yauch was his direct boss. So he cut their documentaries and all their videos for 8 years, and it was like this New York hip hop love fest, just
Yeah,
it just came together in this way. It's just and we were super small, so it was very tight. We were hang out on the street and shoot the scene in the garage, and then come out and be together. So it was just really a special time.
absolutely.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
OnStar, let's talk about your family history, man. So, like Paul was saying, you come from a line of musicians and people in the entertainment industry. Tell us a little bit about about all that. I'm curious.
Got it. So it starts with my dad. Rest in peace, Kippy D. He was Rock Steady Crew. Early on, hip hopper, one of the first East Coast poppers, and all around dynamic, just dress, style, speech, walk. He was really like one of the first hip hoppers ever. So he pioneered along with the Rocksteady crew. Shout out Crazy Legs. Just pioneered the movement. And before they even knew that it was going to become a worldwide thing, this was something that my dad was just doing. So one of the kind of twists of fate is that he passes away before I was born. So I never got to be with him physically or meet him. But because I went to find out who he is as a man, I ran into the true essence and the culture of hip hop and the gold that was like under all of just what the entertainment industry had brought it to at this point. Because we know a bit of the culture is diluted or utilized for, alternate ulterior motives. But with that, I'm like, wow, like there's so much rich history that kind of gives you a sense of life and freedom of self-expression and finding out who you are and what you got to say in this big conversation called the universe. And so my dad just kind of gave me like like a point, like a point of entry, which is the beginning. So in my life, I end up looking at the mirroring of it, and like now I have a team, a dance crew. He was in Rocksteady. I'm in a team called Waffle. We are Family for Life Entertainment. He was a rapper and a breaker. I'm a rapper and a light feeder. And a light feed is basically a new dance style that's coming out of Harlem right now that's taken over the world. It's in over 20 plus countries. We're in Paris, Japan, London, Poland, Argentina, Central America, Belize, South Africa. It's spreading like wildfire. And so I'm one of the pioneers of light feet.
Light feet, light feet.
Yes, Litefeet, light feet. And so it's such a mirroring lifestyle. It's like like our Indian family say karma. Like it's like karmic. Like I'm like, wow, I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I'm being him in such a new way.
Mm.
And that's why I walk with such a honorable consciousness. Like it's not just, anybody could be lit, anybody can have 1 million followers, anybody could be on TV, but are you really what you say you are? And not only do I come from hip hop royalty, but I live my life with that conscious understanding that I'm walking with a mantle. It's not just a look, but it is a feel and an experience altogether. So I'm truly grateful for who my dad chose to be and what he chose to get into, because he basically wrote my life before I got here.
Wow, man. That's very eloquently put too, the way you just broke that down. Because not everybody, who grew up without their dad has that much even knowledge of who they are. So, that's incredible, man. Very cool. Respect to you and to your pops, man. That's awesome. I gotta go check out this Light Feet, and I gotta go check out Waffle Crew, man. That sounds really cool. I'm like a mad wannabe b-boy. Like in 6th grade, the talent show, I was a black belt in Taekwondo, so I was like spinning nunchucks and doing all this stuff. And then these b-boys backstage were like, you know that your martial arts is kind of like b-boying, the way you're breaking. And I'm like, really? I never thought of it. And they taught me. So I'm backstage in my Taekwondo uniform. I put the nunchucks down and I'm learning these ground moves. And ever since then, I'm like, yo, like, and my name is Bren Boy, is B Boy for life. That's my steez, you know?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Wow, you got it.
Yeah, I'm mad interested.
It is a martial art though, because if you think about it, like hip hop was inspired by so many dynamics of different things that were happening, starting with Africa and starting with like Brazil. It was inspired by it. And New York City is a melting pot. And so by the time hip hop is formed, it's formed from so many different layers that even now we're still discussing what actually came from where. And you gotta look at like the wisdom to kind of get your own understanding of what would have been an entry point for breakers to take the floor versus just standing up and popping, and who top rockers, like people just saw the different aspects of how they can express it. So Brim Boy for life, B-Boy for life, you got a personal story of your connection. That's what hip hop is all about, taking your story and connecting it with the great circle of life. So there you go.
Hey, respect, bro. Hey, so my show, Rip City Basement, you remember that old BET show, Rap City in the Basement, right? Well, Portland, it seems to be remarkably similar to Brooklyn. A lot of people who move here from Brooklyn, I asked them, hey, like, what brought you to Oregon? And they're like, well, I came to Portland and it just reminded me of what Brooklyn used to be. And I'm like, really? And I've never been to New York, so I don't really know, but I get that a lot. And so just that whole style, like you're talking about, Arn, that storytelling, and just and that attitude, the culture behind it. It's not hip hop with two capital H's, is not just rap. It's not just rapping. There's four other elements in that mix, so I'm with that. And on the Rip City Basement, one thing that I like to do is I like to get some exclusive stuff. I like to hear a story from artists like yourself in rap form. And it could be a freestyle. It could be a verse that you got tucked away that you haven't shown anyone, or an acapella of a verse that something you put out. But I kind of want to hear what you got, man. Can you tell us a story in 16 bars? Can you spit something for us?
All right, I don't know if I'm gonna hold it to 16, but I'm gonna try to keep it as close as possible.
Hey, do your thing, man.
All right. I said, listen, if you find what you missing, then you can understand that is the mission. That's what you was born for. That's why you first crawled and you stand up and get off the all fours. It's all for us and we all force and we push by the force. So 2 times 2 is what it do when we making our moves. Don't you know I create a print when I'm using my shoes? Don't get confused. The mind that I use don't mean nothing if I can't let the talent inside me loose. I'm talking about the spirit because I'm so gifted. They call me December 25th, kid. It's like Christmas. I'm bringing Christ to the masses, bringing back the future from the past because ancient means future, not passive. If you don't understand, you got to face it now or you passive. Look,
hey!
Every time I spit it, it's a tragic. Every time I spit it, it's just magic. Every time I spit it from this aspect, they be like, yo, he's the Atlas. He be holding up the world. And I'm just so glad I found love in my life. So shout out to my girl. And I'm going to get a ring real quick, but you already know. Hold on, phone call. It's a ring real quick. Star.
Oh!
That's at the top, man. That's at the top.
Arn Star, you're a beast, bro.
Thank you.
That was impressive, bro. I like that. That's some real stuff, bro. That's how I know you're a real MC, bro. That's tight.
Yeah, that was fun. Shout out to your girl.
Yeah. Big shout out.
Yeah, man, I'm in love, man. I just got into a new relationship. I let go of that old like persona of what it looked like to be cool. Like real cool is taking care of family, real cool is taking care of community, real cool is keep growing and facing your fears. So, I was taking care of the community, I was taking care of myself, and the Almighty just was like, you know what? I think you're ready for a special someone to take care of you and you take care of them too. So here we are. Yeah.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you, and you seem really happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You already know. And I'm going to stay happy too, because Now I got somebody on top of me whenever I'm like, oh, I don't know about it. She's like, that's not how we look at it. What about your own principles that you instilled in yourself? I'm like, yeah, you're right, babe. I can do it now. And next thing you know, this big S on my chest come out of nowhere, but she's a real hero.
That's amazing, brother. I can tell that it's genuine because you can't stop but to smile when you talk about it. You know, you can't help it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Will Smith now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Hey, Paul, now I see why you chose this guy. Now I see.
I mean, he just exudes, and such a, yeah. What's more to say? He says it all,
That's amazing.
Love you too.
We got to wrap up here, guys. Tell us where we can find you on social media and where we can find the movie.
You go on.
At The Wheels Film. At The Wheels Film. And at ARNSTAR. At ARNSTAR. Instagram. You already know. Oh, February 5th, album coming. Light Layers Extended Spectrum. Y'all already know what it is. Stay tuned because it's coming to you fast.
Right on. Thank you, guys. We're going to check you guys out on Instagram. I'm going to blast it. I'm going to check out the film. And congratulations on the release, guys. I'm really proud of you, and I'm excited about everything that comes in the future for you.
Thank you so much. And Brent, let me send you the link. I'll send you the link to the film so you can check it out.
Yeah, please do that, brother. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for having us. It's really awesome that you do this and let artists just blast out their stuff and share it,
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Rip City Basement, bridging the gap between hip-hop fanatics' demand to hear technique and Portland's electronic obsession. Once again, my name is Bren Boy. Go follow me at BrenBoy503 and check out the film, The Wheels. That's the first thing I'm doing when we're logging off, and I'm logging off. Peace.
Rip City, Rip City. Rip City, Rip City. Yo, how many mics do we rip on the daily? Some say many, some say